afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast from me, your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda Hero of Psych, Defender of the Fatherland. We're off here to an exciting 1 vs 1 on the road to Kharkov. Between the north, you got here Dezman fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland, taking on the role here of the 6th Panzer Division, versus in the south, you got here Schoepsi fighting for the Soviet Union, Socialism, and the 1st Mechanized Corps, tasked with clearing on the road to Berlin, destroying the fascists. We got Dezman here with the Osttruppen doctrine, sending out cheap expendable infantry. Could be Schutzmannschaft, could be Luftwaffe troops, who knows what they represent. The thing is, the actual Osttruppen by 1944 would not have existed on the front line. They were basically deemed too unreliable. And initially the first try in Normandy turned out they were not good there either. So they basically all shifted over to like Hilfswillige or just sort of support personnel. Anyways, triple Osttruppen there for Dezman with mechanized assault or armored assault tactics from Schoepsi. So we got Osttruppen as assault armored assault tactics, and both players basically within the first minute have chosen a doctrine. Then when you have both players choosing a doctrine, and you know things are going to get interesting because both players know what the devil they want to do. So there you go, fighting for the fuel here. Awesome, quickly kicking the door in and opening up there, and the conscripts out in the open. Pioneers pursuing there with MP40s. They are Schmeissers, mercilessly gunning down the Marxists. Sakes out, you Marxist scum. I don't believe in that. I believe in Trotsky. I'm dead anyways. Osttruppen moving up down here. We got Osttruppen moving up the west side as well. They consecrating the victory point there. 3rd conscript on the way there for Schoepsi, so he's not going for penal tool build here versus Dezman. And there you go, another rush here for the house. Who will make it this time around? Those ships realize he's not going to make it. The Osttruppen then this time once more kick in the door, bash the windows and open up. You know, couldn't we just open the windows? Yeah, I feel like that's a lot more efficient. Nein, we have to bash them. Official army regulations: always bash the windows so the enemy knows you're using them to fire through. Also moving down there, conscripts standing about with engineers on the way there for Schoepsi. So triple conscripts engineers there. We got a bit of sandbags there occupying the house. It's going to be difficult for Dezman to deal with in the early game, and most can try and block them from moving up through here with a single Osttruppen squad. Here we got troops occupying each other, more sandbags from Schoepsi. Dezman then striking straight at the jugular there with a Osttruppen shaped knife. Right there for the Kharkov point, engineers counter-attacking, but the Osttruppen there already blocking maneuvers. We got pioneers swinging them. We got an MG40 shot here for Dezman. Also noting an infantry company opening up for Panzerfausts, but also supporting the weaponry for the Osttruppen. Could be mortars or a sniper. Niemand constantly is charging forwards here. Osttruppen pioneers doing what they can with MP40s. They cannot. TKs, of course, believe in Endsieg. Could go for an officer here to support his men. The officer's certainly a nice choice. We'll have to see what ends up with there for Dezman and Deutschland, man. Schoepsi there, no take-up as of yet. We're going to mortar them for Dezman to support his troops there with pure German firepower from slightly behind and then above. Conscripts fighting, that's the Osttruppen on the east side. So far, a bit back and forth here. So far, though, Dezman with the Osttruppen and aggressive play with them has sort of pushed Schoepsi onto the defensive end, forcing up here around the centre. Back here, we got the Special Rifle Command up for Schoepsi. There'll probably be some scout cast, sniper, or maybe some penal troopers that way. Back up the initial efforts to destroy the fascists, to liberate the motherland, and liberate other people's motherlands too. That is the true socialist way. Liberating everybody's motherlands. Conscripts versus Osttruppen here, big back and forth there. And we got Strafnigge there for Schoepsi. Osttruppen there, using the car provided by the Russians, so generously the true socialist way, ensuring even the enemy has something to hide behind. Penal troopers there, halfway done for Schoepsi. Meanwhile, we got the mortar there, bombarding the least seen Russian positions, but already there, Schoepsi's on the move, possibly getting hurt the whistling of the mortar bombs. He falls back to a less, exposed position. First penal trooper squad out here for Schoepsi, made up of men who have in some way or the other broken military regulations. Tank crews, for example, could end up there after having abandoned the tank if it was not on fire. Like, that was literally the only criteria they could leave the tank behind in. That was if it was on fire. Otherwise, they had to stay by the tank. It was basically, I think, around 1942, I believe there was apparently mentions of it before that, but apparently sort of nothing serious. But either way, around 1942, basically after a series of cases where they could like see, you know, several photographs from the Germans, somehow they got a hands on it, I'm sure, probably propaganda, where like the Germans were putting out tanks. They clearly had not suffered damage. They pretty much just said to them, again, if that tank is literally not on fire, you're not leaving it. Flamethrowers here also being pushed back. We got a flank here on the MD-42. We got Molotovs as well there from Schoepsi. Nice move there. The MD-42 get underestimated. It's still pretty good against the Wehrmacht, especially. And the MD-42 is about to go. Oh dear, he actually pops it back in there. Dezman consigns the crew to death, but either way, but at least ensures the machine gun doesn't fall into the hands of the enemy. A cruel yet efficient leader, this Dezman. Also from there, with a lot of multi-port and likes, they're pushing back the penal troopers there, who ultimately failed in their assault on the western-held fascist positions, defending the car point. We got a half-track out there for Dezman. That is very likely going to be a flame for a half-track. I'd be surprised if it went for it just for the actual half-track elements of it. There we go, flame for a half-track. I mean, it'd be nice, but it's just not what the average Wehrmacht player goes for. In particular, not in a situation like this, you know, where there's an awful lot of Russian infantry, and they've got Osttruppen. I mean, Osttruppen into flame for half-tracks is a very sort of common strategy, popularized by Helping Hans, who sort of really went hard into it and sort of, you know, rather make it, you know, part of his signature, you almost say, for Osttruppen. Osttruppen has the conscripts though, doing some good damage there up close, pushing them back. He's still finding around the Kharkov point there, even as, you know, Schoepsi's hitting his fuel. Dezman ensures that Schoepsi's not going to have an easy time there. Flampanzerwagen almost down there for the fatherland, Deutschland. With a counter-attack here from Schoepsi, claim what was lost to the fascists. Troops reinforcing, healing, anti-tank grenades on there for Schoepsi. And the Flampanzerwagen there lives up to his name, burning things. Infantry charging forwards there, dealing with the Osttruppen, but of course the nearby flame for half is going to make it difficult for Schoepsi. And obviously besides the anti-tank grenades, he's got no serious counter to the Flampanzerwagen there. Up close here, the Punics was making very short work of the Osttruppen, dealing with them in gratuitous manner, before burning off with a quite severe tan. There you go, Ura there to pelt it with anti-tank grenades. Almost got it there actually. Again, that tends to be one of the flame for half-take's weaknesses, anti-tank grenades. Like if the infantry sort of gets close enough, fast enough, and pops it with enough, it will go down. The flame for half-take itself is not durable. That's probably sort of what, despite all the damage, keeps it, you know, reasonably balanced. It can do a lot of damage, but it can also very quickly be taken down if you're not careful, or if your opponent decides to sort of counter it reasonably well. But it is still, you know, a unit that can sort of quickly get out of hand, but it does, you know, have some more counter sort of compared to the looks, which is a lot harder to actually lock down if it goes nuts. Tellermine's being laid down here. Dezman taking no chances with the Russian armor, quickly laying down the Tellerminen. Teller meaning plate. Of course, the mines are shaped like plates. Those Germans and their creative names. Got the MD-42 out there for Dezman. Do we have any tech over there for him? And yes, indeed, he's moving on for the Panzers here. Moving on. Engineers constantly advancing. Eastern points being secured. Pioneers falling a bit back there in the face of Russian engineers with Flammenwerfers. Consul versus Osttruppen here. Quick rush up there. Might be a Molotov there to further flash them out, or you might decide that is not necessary, and in fact a waste of valuable state resources. Nope, he pops it. Up here, Osttruppen versus flamethrower engineers can just move up and burn them out with the flamethrowers. Constantly moving up, the penal troopers past the Teller mine, heading for the Kharkov point. No further takeover there for ships as of yet. And then go Osttruppen routed in the far west. MD-42 defensive Kharkov point, prickly locking down ships' major infantry assault there, and unravelling his plans around the eastern side, as well as imagine they were contingent on the assault here going through. They're threatening the Kharkov path and of course hitting the Kharkov point. But in this case, Dezman saw through his plans like something that he see through. Yeah, it's a very clever metaphor there from me. Osttruppen there, dispatching the conscripts, low on health, they are forced to retreat. But there you go, second conscript squad having none on that, quick Molotov there through the window. Mortified there at the same time, already threatening the house. In fact, he was expecting to go this. He's already begun bombarding it. Dezman again, as if though he can see into the future. Tank command up here for Schoepsi. So there might be some light vehicles then push against Dezman, who's going for a Panzerabwehr on a 40. Got the penal troopers on the move. Conscripts setting out as well. Will he try and move straight ahead for the mechanized armor company, in which case you can try and rush out the T-3045, though he might need a fuel cache to really make that work. And of course, also note they does have the option for an IS2 later into the game. So pressure up here, but the big fight's happening up here, and this time around again, setting up a more broad assault. As might notice, troops were less bunched up, so in the case of an MD-42, his assault will not be completely flanked like the first one there, which is basically moving up in a march column. And there you go, MD-42 flushed away, fuel point open once more to Schoepsi's men, and now concentrating with the Osttruppen hiding in a ditch, whereas the Osttruppen are hiding in craters, from all the mortars actually. Pretty much providing insta cover there for them anyways. And even as again he hits his opponent's resources, Dezman without fail hits at Schoepsi's. Very good work there, and there goes Schoepsi bringing up his T-70 light tank. Of course, he doesn't know there's a tiller mine there. It's overall a very good spot for a tiller mine there. Hitting the mortar, misses in the Kharkov point. We got the Pack 40 moving ahead here and getting spotted. Small assault here, Osttruppen hiding behind some stacks of hay. But there you go, the flamethrowers pretty much turned into a really, really bad idea. You know, Heinz, I think hiding behind something flammable versus something that can burn things is a really bad idea. Yeah, I think we should relocate to a less flammable position. MD-42 back in action here, the rest of the conscripts. Didn't quite realise where its Archifile was actually aiming and didn't quite move out in time, and then forced away. Meanwhile, continued pressure on the south here to force back Dezman from Schoepsi's sacred territories. And the T-70 there, slowly blitzing ahead there on its tiny treads of doom, murder, socialism. Also knowing that he's got double Panzerfaust bulletins there, so increased range and decreased cost. So making a bit more careful, dangerous there for Schoepsi's T-70 is not careful, or for that matter any armour. Back here, healing enforcement going on. Trying to wipe the Osttruppen there with its 45mm gun. Take over there for Dezman, so Palmer core going out. Almost got the wipe there, and there you go. Osttruppen scored annihilated there. Dezman short one infantry scored there versus otherwise Schoepsi's larger force. It's got a bit of manpower floating there. Fuel cache for example on the Kharkov point or around here. Could be a very good thing for Schoepsi there to sort of long term bring out armour fast, and of course aim for the T-3045, maybe in the IS2. Otherwise, another option would be to maybe, you know, bring up a 5th infantry squad there. More penal troopers could be an idea there for Schoepsi. We shall see though what it ends up with there. MD-42 back here. He could consider maybe machine gun bunker around this area rather than the MD-42. Though of course the penal troopers makes that a bit less easy since, you know, one flank and that goes down with a satchel charge. Oh, he does actually have a machine gun bunker protecting his cut-off point. I actually missed that one. Good setup there by Dezman. Good setup. Fun fact, the Germans actually had sort of pre-made bunkers. You just need to dig a hole and then just sort of pop them in there, concrete and everything. With a small room for one fellow in them. Fun fact. Can't quite remember what their name was though. But they actually produced quite a few of them. Consequence MD-42 Osttruppen here in the east. T-70 slowly supporting. Pack 40 up there to block the T-70 from any sort of rush there against him. Schoepsi floating quite a bit of manpower there. Needs to be careful of that. Again, caches would, I think, at this stage be really good alongside maybe some additional infantry. I mean, you could easily build 2 caches and an infantry squad, and that way, you know, build up a sizable resource hump versus Dezman, and that way just drown him in T-34s and maybe, you know, quickly an IS2 as well. Popping out to incendiary archers now to flush out the rations. Very good choice there by Dezman. There you go. Schoepsi falls back. Disgusted with German hospitality there. He will have none of it. T-70 picks up in the centre, mortify the landing close to the conscripts. Doesn't do too much damage. We got Betty 2 there on the Granaten Werfer. And there you go, machine gun bunker protects here. Sehr good. Sehr good. Direct hit on the T-center by the mortar. In-game wouldn't have done much. In the actual war, probably would have done some critical damage there, since most tanks had very, very thin armor on top, which made them vulnerable to most types of artillery. That's a fun fact. Pat 40 Osttruppen setting out there. Good hit there by the Panzerabwehrkanone 40. Ships are in a much better position. They're still floating too much manpower for comfort. Again, I mean, he's a bit too occupied with what's going on the front line. He's now building up support from Company. Probably doing up some support weapons, expecting enemy armor. Not a bad idea. But, you know, a fuel cache would have still been a magnificent choice there for ships at some point. We also got penal troopers there, second squad, more infantry to challenge the fascists. And up here also, man, being slowly cut to ribbons here by the conscripts, although themselves also suffering valiantly in their course. Second bunker up here. Is he going to set up another machine gun bunker just for this area? That seems a bit superfluous by Dezman, to be honest. I mean, a command bunker wouldn't be a bad choice, but no. It is a second machine gun bunker just to pretty much ensure this area cannot be flanked or anything there. I mean, it's probably, of course, realising he might have put a much trying to move up there and then flank this, so he's basically just setting up redundant machine gun bunker to pretty much ensure there's no way in hell he can do that, which will of course force him up here. But for most players, they're never going to consider that. I mean, for most players, again, flanking is something, you know, disliking, because kind of like exercise, you have to, you know, put in some effort and actually, you know, move somewhere. So in this case, he's basically gambling on ships being really, really lazy. I mean, this is basically all this is about. Yeah, he's just trying to create the situation there which flanking is too much effort, which isn't necessarily, again, a bad idea versus a lot of players, because a lot of players, again, aren't keen on flanking for the aforementioned reasons. You got the Panther moving up here against the Osttruppen, quickly, or penal troopers, I mean, forcing them out to the open. Panther blasting away with machine guns. Is the penal machine gun away there? Yes, indeed. And we got the machine gun bunker providing support as well here. So, a small defensive line here. The Dezman line. So, the Panther Force should provide Dezman's forces with a nice support element and, of course, offensive element, for which to center his defense swords attacks around and break through or break an attack. As for Schoepsi, there's some time before he can bring up. He can actually build a mechanized armor company now. But again, if he, you know, built fuel caches sooner, he could probably active then as soon as he got it up, bring out some armor. Meanwhile, Panther 4, they're rolling ahead. There you go, there we got this is 3 field gun ready and penetrating there the Panther 4 with a single hit. Also demo charge. Oh, he's created a super mine there. Schoepsi going for ultimate greed and destruction. And looks like nothing going on in terms of tech for Schoepsi. Oh, there you go. Mechanized armor company finally being erected for the 1st Mechanized Corps as it fights against the 6th Panzer Division. Victory points reasonably close there, but with a lead for Dezman. Panther dealing with advancing penal troops. We got Panzer Grenadier here for Dezman. Panzer Grenadier is going to be quite helpful versus all the infantry. The conscript of the Panzer Grenadier will be quite useful for. And there you go. Machine gun bunker pretty much going to be getting close to the Panzer IV and actually charging it. Now, those machine gun bunkers have actually been surprisingly effective there for Dezman. Surprisingly effective. Even of course they can't defend the rest of the map for him. They at least sort of create a sort of safe zone. They can sort of be a bit more relaxed because it knows any sort of infantry movement will quickly get locked down there by a German waiting in a hole in the ground with a machine gun. So mechanized armor company up. Fuel cache will still allow him to boost up maybe a bit faster for the T-45. Osttruppen out in the open, there's a T-70 light tank, firing away with its 45mm gun. Got the Panther 4 rolling down, penals out in the open, exposed and easy targets for the Panzer Corps. And Pioneers advancing on the center victory point, engineers waiting out here. We also got a mortar out now for Schoepsi. Bit late, but better late than never. Can provide smoke support, will cause bombardment elements. And Dezman here goes for the Panzerschrecks and the Panzer Grenadiers. He's clearly worried about enemy armor rushing him, but I don't know. I'd rather go for Panzerschreck or Pack 40 there, an additional one, and then he's trying to use them for anti-infantry. The Panzerschrecks there seem a bit like an awkward choice. We'll have to see how it works out there for Dezman. T-7s are landing hits, or taking hits. Field gun troops that push back. Panzer IV needs to be careful here. Panzer Grenadiers or Panzerjägers are a bit more limited what they can do at the moment. Taking damage from the T-70. Got a bomb grenade off from the field gun. Balterladung. There you go. Right past Schoepsi's horde. Panzer IV firing away. Closing in on the Veterans who won there very slowly. Surely. Osttruppen finding themselves targets of German or Russian wrath. Yeah, got a Panzer. They're dropped by the Panzergrenadier, and we got an Austrian flak Panzer. This is Dezman versus all of Schoepsi's troops. Definitely not a bad choice, and we got Schoepsi's tank here, the T-3045, on the way. Which is certainly not too intimidated by machine gun bunkers, quite the opposite. Field gun shoots, misses the Panzer IV, bit lucky there for Dezman. And we got the Austrian flak Panzer out here, about only 40 of them were built. In general though, never a lot of anti-aircraft tanks were I think built by any army in the war. Over the Gentlepolen ones, I think they built some of the most, because they sort of built many based on different chassis, though the most produced one was based on the Panzer 38T, it was known as the Gepard, and a 2cm flat cannon mounted on it. But ours, most armies basically relied on them either just being pushed around by infantry, tractored about, or you know, being propelled by tractor trucks, mounted on trucks in fact. There were numerous versions of those for the Germans. You had them on Opel Maltiers, Opel Blitzers, some special trucks as well. Like they mounted them on everything, including cars. We got the T-35 out there for Schoepsi. Threatening tank there for Dezman and his Panzer IV, and certainly also the Ostwind. Going up there shooting and landing something that resembles a hit. Going up there getting Panzer faster, and there you go, second Panzer faster down to him. We got the Panzerjägers moving in. Can't go about nearby, plus of course the T-70 point here, the T-3045. And up north here we got the Panzer IV doing some punitions here, trying to harass his field point. Nice attempt there by Schoepsi, didn't quite pan out. Panzerjägers and team there taking losses from the Fletcher mines. Got work there by Schoepsi. Out in the open, they are exposed targets here to the Russian armour though. Almost got the T-70 there, but couldn't quite land the finishing blow. And the mortar is also a bit exposed in some ways. Falls back. Panzer IV then taking a hit from the CIS-3. Also now needs to be careful not to place his field gun too close to his own line. When that thing goes off, he could risk it actually wipes his field gun, making things a lot easier for Dezman and the 6th Panzer Division. Just saying. Got the Austrian moving up there. And straight into Mom with the Panzer forces trying to flank behind there. Not a bad idea. The only issue I'd say with this kind of flank is he has no infantry support. This is where unupgraded Panzer grenadiers would be great, because they're quite good at supporting your tanks' more offensive maneuvers. So without that and sending the Panzer I on their own, it's rather looking like GG there for Dezman's Panzer IV. Which rather means his opponent's going to have the H here with the T-35 and the T-70, whereas he's only going to have an Osttruppen now to try and deal with Schoepsi's armour. There you go, Panzer IV down. Bit rubbish there for Dezman and the 6th Panzer Division. I can understand why he didn't, certainly wasn't expecting him in mind, but you know, that's the only way I keep a bit of infantry support about there, just in case something like that happens maybe. Or if the mortar's been a bit closer, he could have smoked, but the problem is he actually did smoke, but it's just too late. He's also anticipating it to be elsewhere. Still, I like the idea. It's just a bit awkwardly executed there for Dezman, a bit awkwardly executed. But, you know, at least he tried, and, you know, trying is the first step towards actually getting competent at it. So, you know, if you're trying to smoke yourself initially, you just don't find it working out there, don't worry, just keep at it, you know, trying to figure out what you did wrong and how to improve it, and you'll eventually get there. T-35 there, back on the road. The overall major difference between the T-34-76 and the 85, largely laying the turret, and of course the gun, which was encased within the turret. Fun fact there, the chassis itself overall saw no real major changes, if I'm not too mistaken. Also there with the Pantry picked up from the Panzer Grenadiers, running up there. T-35 they almost wiped the entire unit of the scene. Oh! Okay, he could have tried probably setting off the demo charge, but I imagine he didn't want to do that because he wants to drive a panzer into it. Also, someone got stuck in the treads of the tank. Ah, niet! Pushkin's stuck in it and he's dead! I mean, it's better he's dead than alive, but he's dead, comrades! So very dead. That physics engine. First Panzer order there for Dezman and the 8th Panzer Division. Osttruppen flying out the T-35 Panzer also landing hits there. Russian advance in the centre, but there's a Panzer IV on the way. And we've got a Pak 40 covering the entire western side there against the T-35. Field gun though, ever vigilant against any Panzers there from Dezman. He's trying to up the eastern side. We also got a bit of light harassment there with the Osttruppen. Trying to not just get too focused here. Very good approach there by Dezman. You need to be careful you don't get too obsessed about one point on the map. They're missing opportunities to hit elsewhere. We got the constant there being blasted to death by the Ostwind. Osttruppen taking losses, and we got air support called in here by Schoepsi. And IL2 Sturmovik suppressing troops so close. Immediately shot down by the Ostwind, which crashes into the headquarters after us, the plane that is. Don't underestimate the power of German anti-aircraft firepower. Which was out there was the Panzer IV. Osttruppen getting bombarded with mortars. Satchel charge off there. Got some poor bastard on retreat. Osttruppen taking a hit from the field gun. We got the Pak forcing up down the mortar as well there. Osttruppen taking the direct hit from the T-35 there. And he's about to get wiped out. Schoepsi seems to be aiming up here for the IS2 though. Again, this is once more where, you know, some early fuel caches probably could have done Schoepsi, you know, some nice good. Would have probably allowed him to maybe have it out by now, but oh well. Oh wait, if he's setting up for the IS2, that gives Dezman more time to bring up more armor, specifically StuGs, to that way deal with the, you know, any sort of big armor ships he might have. Of course, also allow him to lock down the T-35 a bit faster. Ships they're launching a massively scaled infantry assault through the centre, always men more or less there being bunched up, all for the benefit of Dezman's machine guns, mortars, and of course the Austrian flak panzer. But there you go, spreading out there. Could have been, of course, he was planning an initial march formation, in which case, you know, bunching up your troops makes a lot more sense. You just need to get them to a point. Though, of course, pushing them too close to the front line there, of course, can make, you know, some problems. But he's quickly splitting up after that. Stug on the way. T-35, T-76 out there. A small armoured tank formation. Constantly taking loss there from German mortar fire. Field gun wiped out by the Panzer IV. Now that's quite a loss there for Schoepsi. Quite a loss, and there go T-35 on 6 for the Panzer IV. Penetrating hit there from the Panzer IV. Not good. Anti-tank grenade goes off, but no damage to the Panzer IV. No damage engine either. Russians rushing for the field gun. T-35 falling back for repairs. T-70 also quite dinged up. But Schoepsi is getting closer to the IS2. We also got the Stug at the same time out here for Dezman and the 6th Panzer Division. And there you go, pushing back the Panzer IV. Machine gun bunker, of course, once more coming to the rescue there of Dezman's forces at the increasingly shrinking front line. Oh! Good lord, full wipe on the Osttruppen squad there. Mortar fire, Osttruppen fire there, tearing apart the mortar crew. T-35 being flanked there by the Panzerics. Ah, Stug missed. Quite a loss there. T-35 on the way halfway to Veteran 2. Schoepsi though is paying a bit of the price again of trying to stay up for the IS2 right now. As you might be noticing in his missing out a lot of opportunities to push armor now and maybe push back Dezman, which of course is giving Dezman opportunities, you know, to solidify the front line and buy himself time. So we'll have to see that went up with how once the IS2 finally arrives for Schoepsi and the first mechanized corps. Field gun there being slowly cut to ribbons there by the Austrian flak panzer. Its 30mm flak proving ever lethal. second wave of infantry, supported this time by Maxim for Schoepsi. T-70 there, Veteran T2. And we got his other support called in here, trying to destroy Schoepsi's forces with some schweres artillery. Got the Stug joining in there for anti-infantry purposes as well now, bombarding. And in the west, Osttruppen and Panzergrenadiers moving out. Then in the east, Pioneers 74-2 can maybe sort of move up here and that way, flank in. Here we've got a mortar exposed, with only a T-70 for safety. Now we got the field gun exposed on the left flank. Schoepsi needs to be careful not to expose the support weapons too much there. On the flanks against Dezman, more flare trick mines going off here. Not bad, and we can see that overall seems like Dezman is going for some broader scale attacks, which is a bit more risky in some ways, but if he can execute it well, can again sort of pay off nicely. Seems like though he's aiming for limited goals, not going to try and see how far he can push, but just only moving in to secure the victory points and nothing more here versus Schoepsi. Second Stug for Dezman. He's probably figured out what kind of doctrine his opponent's going for, at least figuring out there's something big coming his way either way, so he is bringing up there the Sturmgeschütz alongside the Panzer 40s. But also settling for more limited goals rather than trying to rush ahead and then getting caught off guard by the IS2, whatever big thing he's expecting. There's definitely the preps that he can take there from Dezman. Stug almost done, but Schoepsi's also now really, really close to the IS2s, in fact seconds away. And there you go, IS2 heavy tank available for Schoepsi. And the first mechanized corps, and there we go, called in. Osttruppen gaining Veteran 2 is certainly big for him. And there you go, rolling ahead there on heavy treads. West we got Kharkov versus Osttruppen. Note he is not upgrading the IS2, there was a Dishka for added anti-infantry. Molotov there. Putting the small engagement IS2 rolling further forward. Still no upgrade. If it's going to attack head on, I'd recommend the smoke. I mean, he knows what the MD42 is, so you know, if say smoke from around here would be pretty good. In this case, we also have the intent benefit of just running for doing anything there. Instead, he moves ahead with no smoke stream from his mortar, despite knowing there is something there. So that is definitely less amazing there by Schoepsi. Got the IS2, they're going straight for the Panzer 4 here. T-4 moving up for the centre. Mortar being pushed back a bit. Machine gun there, caught out in the arm by the IS2. T-4 could try and support the IS2 goes the Panzer 4. Panzer 4 blitzing away there. Dezman trying to avoid it, realising he's actually allowed his Panzer 4 to be cut off. Blitzing away, but there you go. T-4 coming up on the side as well. Ooh, but there you go, gets behind there, fast, and the return rotation of the IS2 and the way it turns means that he needs to rotate the tank the other way around to have a chance. Instead, looks like Dezman might... never mind. Almost looked like he saved his Panzer 4 there, but it did go down to the T-35's end. And he actually considered, I think, something else in the Stug, cancelled it, but now got punished for it. Air support called in this Stug, they're bombarding here in the west. The machine gun fire, Panzer Grenadiers moving in this well, needs to get his tanks back in action, deal with it. He's wrecking the machine gun first, it seems like here. So while he was busy with the Panzer 4 though, Dezman saw an opportunity to actually hit the weaker support elements, getting the T-70 and the field gun. And pushing where the rest of his forces, leaving it only with the armour at the front line. Not a bad play there overall, but Dezman, of course, now he's further being having the table turned by the T-35 flanking behind his Stug, cutting off its retreat path. Very good counter move by ships, they're destroying the Stug. Quite a loss there for Dezman. Got the Stug moving down there, Pack 40 hanging back. Osttruppen setting out. Osttruppen close to halfway to its defeat. 2 aircraft to its name now. And more Panzer Grenadier there for Dezman. Troops out in the Pack 40 as well there. Still the machine gun bunker in the way. He has yet to be able to deal with it. So instead the IS2 falls back. Also taking minor losses from the IS2's 122mm gun. And T-35 they need repairs. Would be a shame for Schoepsi to lose such a veteran tank crew. Dezman there can go for another Stug. Probably should. They secured the field gun there. This is 3. Stug creeping ahead. Pentmark machine on the way there. Panzer Grenadier looks like this time he's not upgrading them. That is, I think, definitely in these circumstances the right choice. Sandbags being dug here to help Schoepsi defend the central victory points. They're good. German machine gun here. Maxim firing over there, getting pinned itself. We got Yossam moving up. Quickly assaulting the retreat of the Maxim with no cover against such a potent anti-infantry weapon. There's nothing to do but retreat. Panzer is attacking head-on against the IS-2. Very ambitious there by Dezman. Bun grenade on the bunch-up troops! Didn't do too much into the cover bonus. Had not been, though, that would probably been a huge loss there for Schoepsi. Other Panzer support need to be careful. Taking fire there from the IS-2 doesn't quite hit, though. And there go guards the penal troops and the conscripts. Without the damage from the first bomb grenade, they actually make them easy for the first or second squad to pull through there. StuG moving up there, Osttruppen moving in as well. They're pushing back Schoepsi's lines, weltering beneath the fury of Dezman's assault. His storm. Pioneers creeping up on the south front there, even as the centre's collapsing. Got the T-35 they're rolling back for Schoepsi to try and contain Dezman's harassment in the south. Schoepsi should probably aim for another T-35 soon, or maybe some T-34, some 6s, HE5. But definitely more armor right now should be the priority here for Schoepsi against Dezman. That way launching up a rather sizable armored fist through which to devastate Dezman. IS2 being repaired, fixed up. Note by the way, all of these handholds are for infantry. They sort of help hold on to the tanks, as the Russians more or less just sort of, took the whole tank riding thing as, well, might as well do it then fully, since they didn't have enough transport for the infantry most of the time anyways. And of course, while the Russians are most known for it, the Germans also did. In fact, they sort of went a step farther later on through the war to actually designate official tank escorts for the tanks, for example. So, for example, like Panthers would have special infantry trained to basically stick to the tank and support them. But again, it wasn't uncommon there either for the German tank was to run along. I mean, you can see plenty of pictures of entire StuGs being entirely covered in infantry, for example, running along for the rock there. That's a fun note. Katyusha on the way for Schoepsi. I'm not entirely sure that's going to be a great idea here. I think you should just try to aim for an armoured advantage. That will hit with the T-35 support for the IS2 and go for sort of an armoured shot instead of the Katyusha. I mean, it can work out if you should identify the anti-tank guns where they are and destroy them, but more tanks would just allow for greater breakthrough effect versus Dezman. So we'll have to see how it works out though for Schoepsi and the 1st Mechanized Corps. Constantly they're getting blasted by the flak pans, they're getting very close to Veteran feet. Overall noting there's more people actually understanding how to use the Osttruppen and actually get it to the higher levels of veterancy, which is also great to see. I mean, a year ago, you wouldn't have seen anyone actually be able to do that with the Osttruppen because they'd never consider it. But again, thanks to the might of me, actually teaching people how to use it, and everybody suddenly knows how to use the Osttruppen and actually get it there. And I am amazing. There you go, smoke screen down. I'm not entirely sure he was laying it down. Looks like he was Schoepsi there. Osttruppen down though, quite a loss there for Dezman, who's clearly caught off guard there by Schoepsi's assault. Mortars firing away, the IS2 running back. Veterans 1, T-35, they're half-8 to Veterans 3. Up here we got Panzerjägers empty and Panzergrenadiers with Osttruppen there as well. Collapsing his southern front there, which was quite weak to be honest. StuG rolling up here, main gun firing, machine gun firing, not yet. Mortar supporting anti-tank weapons creeping up and Panther 4 advancing for the fatherland here against Schoepsi's lines. Tanks hanging back there. Waiting repairs. Katyusha is yet to fire. Should also consider pulling back here. Would be a shame if he actually were to lose it now because he got rushed and he didn't even fire a single barrage. That would be terrible there for Schoepsi. Absolutely terrible. Damaging the T or the IS2. You can actually go for another T-35. Now, if he wants to, we got the StuG from the other side. Oh, they're going to flank. He's going to flank. Oh dear. Target weak point in the T-35 there. Good move by Dezman. Good move. T-35 goes down to the Panther 4, but the Panther 4 goes down to the IS2. This is probably where another tank would have benefited him a lot more than the Katyusha right now. Again, he's yet to fight a single time. And again, had he another T-35, they could have probably just defeated Dezman. So the Katyusha so far is only feeling like a mistake to me. We'll have to see how it works out. I mean, he could turn around again with a good barrage, but so far it doesn't seem to be like it. IS2, they're getting closer to veterancy too. Increased range and accuracy. Panzer taking losses. Stug almost down. Has to charge off it. Oh, no, can't. Got suppressed there with the machine gun. Stug gaining victory 2. Main gun out on the IS2 though. Infantry pushing against the StuG, forcing it back up by the victory point. We got found there as well. Katyusha finally fires, destroys the shed. But oh, that's nothing there. Panzer going to do his out there. IS2, there you go. Oh! Tree destroyed by the IS2, but the Panzer gun is down to 1 man. Lone health, Panzerschreck fails to penetrate. And wiped by the machine guns. Proving that's why you always get the discus there to the IS2. So that's a Panzerschreck dropped as well. Panzer gun is wiped. Bit of a loss there for Dezman. Another Stug on the way there. Things are hanging a bit of a balance there. IS2 though is going to need some serious fix-ups there. I mean, that is heavily damaged. He's been popping self-repair because he knows this is all about getting us back fast into the action as possible. So he can't afford to skimp on anything. He just needs it fast. He's also finally going for an additional T-35, heading the victory points while he can there with his forces. Since right now the Dezman's infantry component is quite weak and he can't immediately launch a counterattack. Machine gun sending up there can actually delay the IS2's repairs. There's the shoots and engineers quickly cutting them down there. Note units repairing or building things actually become easier to hit. That's a important detail to keep in mind. Up here they're about to lose a constant squad, need to retreat, but it's probably talking about with the IS2. Nope. Retreats in time. Good there. Mortify, got the T-35 moving in there. Max needs to be careful. IS2 almost good to go. Panzer IV, they're running for Dezman and the 6th Panzer Division. And there you go, machine gun on the run from the T-3045. Run them all, Dimitri. I wish I could, but they're somehow running faster than these tanks can drive. And these things can drive like 40-50 kilometers an hour. So Katyusha good to go again. IS2 setting out there for Schoepsi. T-35 moving out. Oh dear, this is going to go poorly though. Without a smoke screen down here to sort of cover up the field guns, he's going to be sending his tanks straight to the death. T-35 half down. Oh, he could probably try and bombard the Katyusha's mortar is moving up, but not quite within frontline support range there. Katyusha yet to fire. Anti-tank is advancing, then falling back a bit. We've got the Stug moving up here. Shooting at the last known position, I imagine. Yup, roughly. Stug going, oh, what are you doing, shit, Dezman? It's a Stug, let's see, 2, not a Tiger Ace. Ach, mein Gott. Not the Stug. Nein. IS2 there by gaining victory 2, gets the T-35. But the Stug gets blown to Kingdom Come by the IS2. And it's 122mm gun landing a hit there on the Panzer IV. Another hit there by the IS2. 100 points left there for Schoepsi. First mechanized corps is running into a lot of issues there. Struggling versus the fascists. Smoke screen down here, more defensive than anything. A bit later, I also feel there from Schoepsi. IS2's going to need some repairs. Again. Overall, the Katyusha just hasn't done anything for Schoepsi. Can't help but feel it was the wrong call there by Schoepsi. Dezman remaining in control. Another Stug on the way there for him. IS2 being fixed up close to the front line. He should probably order vehicle repairs again, just to sort of vehicle crew repairs, just to speed it up. The faster you get the IS2 back into action, the better here for Schoepsi. He could smoke the machine gun with his mortar. He is not. Failed assault there in these machine gun with the incendiaries now pushing it back. Panzer's flanking, but getting flanked themselves by the Panzerjägers. Mortar pushed away. And there got another StuG for Dezman. IS2 almost good to go again. 19 kills. 19 kills. Veteran 2. So rare you actually get to see a Veteran 2 IS2. Even seeing an IS2. Another T-35 there on the way for Schoepsi. And there you go. Got the IS2 lumbering ahead. Like a Stalinist giant. Straight here into most of Dezman's anti-tank weapons. The IS2's armor quickly withers beneath the remorseless assault there. I mean, well, pretty much just heavy fire there. Katyusha fires again, this time actually killing something. Actually killing something. Katyusha goes down, IS2 goes down with that. I say it's safe to say Schoepsi is dead in the water. Another T-35 there for Schoepsi, but now it's got barely any victory points. His entire frontline force has been decimated. He's in the run. Victory points in his enemy's hand, and he's just got superior armor numbers. So there you go, GG, game over. A brutal fight with a lot of back and forth, some interesting maneuvers as well. Machine gun bunkers, IS2s, veteran Osttruppen, StuGs, Osttruppen, Panzergrenadiers, smoke screens, you name it. Overall, I think a very sort of good fight, a lot of things, but overall the issue for ships was just the game progressed. Again, the IS2 wasn't quite a good there. The big 1,000 manpower float also robbed him of some momentum, which could each have been invested into, say, cash or something else there. And I also think, you know, that Katyusha there was a big mistake by Schoepsi. He should have gone for another T-35. They've gone for a lot of smaller T-34s from the 6s, and that way just aim for larger armoured fists that could really just punch through Dezman, in which case he might actually have won. Also, a bit more flanking at times from Schoepsi, I think, could also benefit a bit more versus Dezman. But there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, one, subscribe to your friends, share it with everyone. If not, send in a replay and find your feedback in the comments section. This is Imperial Linking. Cheers. Thank you for watching. Of course, a big thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, with which this episode would not have been possible. Big thanks to you all. You all but allows me to continue to be great. So cheers, everybody, and see you all tomorrow for another exciting episode. Bye.